This is it, this is it. Learn it all you ought to know about the facts of life.
The 1970s, the decade of my birth, and the golden era of television, where theme songs weren't just background noise, they were anthems. The second you heard those first few notes, you knew exactly what show was coming on. Whether it was a funky bass line, a soulful melody, or a feel-good jingle that made you want to sing along, these theme songs weren't just TV intros. They were the soundtrack to our childhoods. So grab your bell bottoms, turn the dial on that wood-paneled TV, and let's take a trip back to the greatest 70s theme songs of all time.
Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop.
Yards! He scores! The Bulls lead 80.
Girl, your hair's so nappy, Wilson couldn't pick it.
This is Max Headroom.
Are you kidding?
First off, we gotta talk about the genius who composed it. None other than Quincy Jones. That's right, the Quincy Jones. The man behind Michael Jackson's Thriller and Off the Wall, the guy who's worked with legends like Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, and Ray Charles. But before all that, in 1972, he was tapped to create the theme for Sanford Son, and boy, did he deliver. The official name of the track is called The Street Beater. Sounds cool, right? Kind of fits the show. But get this, it was never originally intended to be just a TV theme song. It was a full-fledged instrumental jazz funk piece that Quincy had recorded as part of his solo work. NBC producers heard it, and it was a match made in TV heaven. You ever notice, though, how the song has that gritty junkyard funk feel? That wasn't an accident. Quincy Jones was a master of blending jazz, soul, and funk, and this theme is packed with some of the best musical ingredients. The whole thing is funky, playful, and full of personality. Kind of like me. Just like Fred Sanford himself. And let's be honest, would Sanford Son even really be Sanford Son without that theme song? Imagine a show with some generic sitcom music or whatever they do today with shows. It wouldn't have hit the same. The song is as much a character as Fred, Lamont, Aunt Esther, or Grady. And if you didn't know that Quincy Jones was the man responsible for all of this, in the immortal words of the late Notorious B.I.G., if you don't know, now you know. Pop quiz. Who sang There's a New Girl in Town? Do you know? Anyone? Bueller? That would be Linda Lavin. Yes, the star of the show herself. Before she was taking sass from Flo and keeping Mel in line, Lavin was a trained singer with a background in musical theater. And honestly, you can hear it in her delivery. Her voice carries warmth, resilience, and just the right amount of hopefulness that perfectly matches Alice Hyatt's journey. Lavin's musical chops weren't just a fun fact. They were a key part of her character. She didn't just play Alice, she was Alice. And that extended all the way to the opening credits. The song is all about fresh starts and second chances, something that resonated deeply with viewers. Alice wasn't just any sitcom protagonist. She was a single mom trying to rebuild her life after losing her husband. The original pilot episode of Alice used I've Got the Music in Me by Kiki D as its opening song. Imagine how different that would have been. But producers decided they needed something original that captured the show's heart, and then There's a New Girl in Town was born. The Alice theme song isn't just a nostalgic tune, it's a testament to perseverance. Whether you watched the show growing up or you're just now discovering it, the message is universal. Life might throw curveballs, but new beginnings are always possible. And who can resist a theme song that makes you feel that good? Oh, and remember, if someone ever yells to you to kiss their grits, just smile and keep it moving forward. The moment that thick, rolling bass line kicks in, you know you're in for a different kind of cop show. Barney Miller wasn't about high-speed chases or action-packed shootouts. It was about the real day-to-day grind of detectives in a New York precinct. And this theme song, it set the mood perfectly. The Barney Miller theme was composed by Jack Elliott and Alan Ferguson, two powerhouses in the world of TV music. If you've ever hummed along to the themes from Charlie's Angels, Starsky and Hutch, or The Love Boat, then you already know their work. Here's a wild fact. The Barney Miller theme wasn't the original opening music. The show's pilot episode used a different tune that was more dramatic and orchestral. But the producers quickly realized that Barney Miller wasn't about car chases. It was about smart dialogue and sharp humor. So they went with Elliott and Ferguson's much groovier theme instead, and that proved to be the best decision ever. So next time you hear that unmistakable bass line, take a second to appreciate it. It's not just music, man, it's a vibe, a mood, and a whole era wrapped up in one funky tune. And that, my friends, is why the Barney Miller theme still slaps.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side.
Now I have to admit, this theme song is one of my favorites. Why do you ask? Because it's a victory anthem, a celebration, a dream realized, and it perfectly matched the show's story. George and Weezy Jefferson moving from Queens to a luxury high-rise in Manhattan? That song wasn't just an intro. It was their journey, and in many ways, the journey of Black success in America. Now, here's where it gets even better. The powerhouse voice belting out those lyrics, that was Janae Dubois. Yes, the same Janae Dubois that played Willona Woods on Good Times. And guess what? She didn't just sing the song, she co-wrote it. She teamed up with Jeff Berry, a legendary songwriter behind hits for the Monkees and the Ronettes. And she even said that she came up with this song because she was bored. Wow, I would love to see what she would do if she was focused. We all know Janae ate that song. She wasn't just singing it. It was a sermon, a testimony, a whole mood. That rich gospel-infused voice made you feel like you were moving on up right along with the Jeffersons. Now, speaking of gospel, did you know that the backing singers were an actual church choir? Yep. The song was recorded with a full-on gospel arrangement, bringing that extra layer of soul and authenticity. That's why you don't just listen to Moving On Up, you feel it. Think about it. How many TV theme songs make you want to stand up, clap your hands, and sing every time that you hear it? Not many. Moving On Up wasn't just a theme song, it was a statement. It told America, we're here, we're thriving, and we're not going anywhere. And that, my friends, is why the Jeffersons theme song will always be legendary.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
Fun fact, I'm sure some of you know, Happy Days didn't always start with this theme song. When the show premiered in 1974, the opening music was actually Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and his Comets. Kind of hard to believe now that season 1 had an actual rock and roll classic as its intro. But by season 3, the producers decided to go with something original. And that's when Happy Days, the song, took center stage. I'm pretty sure those fees for using Rock Around the Clock started to add up because it is not cheap to use someone else's song. However, the Happy Days theme song was written by two musical legends. Norman Gimbel wrote the lyrics and Charles Fox did the music. These guys were no amateurs. Gimbel also wrote the lyrics for Killing Me Softly with his song, Yep, by Roberta Flack. And Fox, well, he composed the Love Boat theme. And get this, when it was released as a single in 1976, it actually hit the Billboard Hot 100 chart, peaking at number 5. Imagine that. Do you know how popular your song has to be to reach number 5 on the Hot 100? Even today, just hearing those first few notes makes people smile. It's like a warm hug from a simpler time when all that mattered was hanging out with friends and hoping the Fonz would give you a thumbs up. So when you hear the Happy Days theme again, don't just hum along. Remember the incredible history behind the song and why it's been making us feel so darn happy for over 50 years. Here we go again. Another one of my favorite theme songs ever. The title of this theme song was Angela, and it was written by jazz musician Bob James. We all know Bob James, right? He's a jazz fusion legend. But originally, he composed a completely different track called Touchdown for Taxi's intro. It was more upbeat, a little funkier, like a celebration of life on the New York streets. Then, something unexpected happened. When the producers were watching the show's pilot, they felt that Touchdown didn't quite capture the heart of the series. The show wasn't just about zany taxi hijinks. It had depth, heart, and some bittersweet moments. So Bob James had another track in his back pocket, an instrumental piece named Angela that he actually written for an episode about a woman named, well, can you guess? Angela. The producers listened and immediately knew this was the one. And just like that, Taxi got its signature sound. There's a reason why Angela sticks with you. It's melancholic, but warm, like a late night cab ride through a city that never sleeps. That electric piano, it's smooth, inviting, almost dreamlike electric piano. And then the saxophone, it just adds a touch of loneliness. This resonates with me personally because I lost my sister, and my sister's name was Angela. So this makes me think of her every time that I hear it. Even today, Angela is considered one of the greatest TV themes of all time. It's been sampled by hip-hop artists, played in jazz lounges, and it instantly transports you back to the late 70s. If you hear it today, close your eyes, and it's like stepping into a yellow cab in pre-gentrified New York, ready for a ride through nostalgia.
Come and knock on our door. Come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's company too.
Just a few notes in to this catchy little tune here, and you're instantly transported back to the world of Three's Company. A world of mix-ups, misunderstandings, and of course, that iconic Santa Monica apartment with Jack, Janet, and Chrissy. The Three's Company theme song, officially titled Come and Knock on Our Door, was written by Joe Raposo. Now, if that name rings a bell, it's because this guy was the musical genius behind some of the most beloved childhood tunes ever. He composed songs for Sesame Street, including Being Green and C is for Cookie. Y'all remember that? C is for Cookie, a cookie just for me. Yep, the same guy who gave us Cookie Monster's anthem also created the perfect introduction to a sitcom about an awkward yet lovable chef and his two roommates. The song was actually performed by Ray Charles and Julia Rinker. No, stop it. Not that Ray Charles, but Ray Charles, the session singer and composer. He and Julia had the perfect duet chemistry, giving the song its warm and inviting energy. Even after Three's Company ended in 1984, the theme song never really left pop culture. It's been parodied, referenced, and covered in everything from Family Guy to That 70s Show. And let's be honest, if you hear it today, you can't help but sing along because it's just that catchy. Come and knock on our door, we'll be waiting for you. The Three's Company theme song is more than just a jingle, it's a time machine. A reminder of a simpler time when sitcoms had laugh tracks, landlords were nosy, and misunderstandings were hilariously over the top.
I'm living on the air in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, WKRP.
Wait. I know you want to, because I want to. But don't start singing just yet. We all love it. But the WKRP in Cincinnati theme song is arguably one of the greatest theme songs ever made. So let's start with the mastermind behind the tune. WKRP theme song was written by Tom Wells and Hugh Wilson. Hugh Wilson wasn't just any songwriter. He was actually the creator of WKRP. Now, normally TV producers don't mess around with theme songs. They hire composers and approve a catchy jingle and move on. But Wilson, he wanted the theme song to feel real, not just some quick intro, but an actual song that told a story. And that's exactly what we got. The song was performed by Steve Carlisle, a relatively unknown singer at the time. And get this, Carlisle never expected it to be a hit. When the show took off, so did the song. It was even released as a single in 1979, charting on the Billboard Hot 100. So if you ever thought, man, this theme song sounds way too good to be a TV theme, you were actually right. It was crafted like a real song because it was one. So the next time you hear those opening chords and go, baby, if you ever wondered, just know you're not just hearing a TV theme, you're hearing the life story of a dreamer, a DJ, and maybe even a little bit of yourself.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out.
Now with this theme song, I absolutely have to sing along every time it comes on. Let's rewind back to 75. ABC had this new sitcom in the works about a wisecracking teacher returning to his rough and tumble alma mater to teach a group of lovable troublemakers, the Sweat Hogs. The producers wanted a theme song that set the tone for both nostalgia and second chances. Well, enter John Sebastian. Now, if that name rings a bell, it should. Sebastian was the frontman of the Lovin' Spoonful, the band behind 60s hits like Do You Believe in Magic and Summer in the City. When producers reached out, they told him that they wanted a simple, warm intro, nothing fancy, just something that felt like home. Sebastian got to work and came up with Welcome Back, a tune that's so good that the producers loved it immediately. But there was just one little problem. The show wasn't called Welcome Back, it was just Kotter. But the song was so perfect, they actually changed the name of the show to match it. That's how much power this theme song had. It literally renamed the entire series. And it didn't just work for TV. The song was such an instant earworm that it was released as a single in '76 and climbed all the way to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Imagine that. A TV theme song becoming a legitimate radio hit? That just doesn't happen anymore. So the next time you hear that opening melody of Welcome Back, let it take you back to a time when TV was simpler, high school was wild, and the Sweat Hogs, well, they ruled the hallways.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm.
Now here's a theme song that actually became bigger than the show itself. Written and performed by Waylon Jennings, one of the outlaw country greats, this track defined the spirits of Bo, Luke, and that iconic orange Dodge Charger, the General Lee. Waylon Jennings wasn't exactly a TV guy. In fact, he hated the idea of being tied down to Hollywood. But the producers knew that they needed someone authentic, someone who was country, not just pretending to be. So they convinced Waylon to write and sing the theme. He knocked it out in one take. And just like some other songs on this list, Good Old Boys wasn't just a catchy intro, it became a legitimate hit. In 1980, it topped the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart, making it one of the few TV themes to ever do that. It even crossed over into the pop charts. Imagine that, a TV jingle going toe-to-toe with the biggest songs of the decade. Here's a little known fact. If you only watched the TV version, you never actually heard the full version of the song. The show intro cuts out his last verse where he pokes fun at himself. So listen to what the last couple of lines are in the song.
I'm a good old boy, you know my mama loved me, but you don't understand, they keep a show in my hands and not my face on TV.
If you're wondering what that last line means, it's because Waylon refused to appear on camera. Instead, in the closing credits, they just showed his hand strumming the guitar. The Dukes of Hazzard ended in 1985, but Good Old Boys kept Waylon Jennings a household name for years. Even today, if you hear those first few notes, you instantly think of dirt roads, car jumps, and good old-fashioned mischief. And let's be honest, when you were a kid, you definitely tried to slide across a car hood at least once. And how did that work out for you? And there we have it. Some of the greatest TV themes from the 1970s, which was a fantastic decade if you ask me. Because guess who was born in it? This guy. If you made me or forced me to pick my favorite, I'm honestly stuck in a three-way tie between the Jeffersons, WKRP, and Welcome Back Kotter. Those three are on equal footing with me. What about you? Do you have a favorite theme song from the 70s? Did your theme make this list, or did I leave your theme out? If I left your theme out, then you know what to do. Let me know down in the comments your favorite theme, and let's discuss it. It's probably a great one. It just didn't make my list here. So once again, my good people, we had another good time, because that's what we're all about, right? Having a good time and remembering great days. So I thank you for tuning in. If you don't know me, I'm Jay, you're you, and you know what I want you to do? Love you, love somebody else, and I'll see y'all soon.